So the skill that I want to show you is how to weave on a triangle loom. I like weaving, but I don't like setting up the warp and the weft and all of the measuring and the wrapping and foreverness that is involved in that. So I like triangle looms because you just do it all with one strand of yarn and it's fantastic. So I wanted to show you different sizes. This is my smallest one. This is my one for fine yarn. You can see how close together the nails are. And then I'm going to show you my third one that I'm actually using right now. So to make your own triangle loom, you just need a piece of wood that has a right angle. So it is a right triangle. And then what you're going to do is measure your wood and divide it by how many nails you want. So like this one has 20 nails on each side. And that's including the corners. This is really bent. So really it has like 1 in each corner and then 18 on each side. So like this one and this one are going to have them be spaced out the same, but then the ones on the hypotenuse, I think, are going to be farther spaced out because the hypotenuse is longer, but you're going to have the same amount of nails. So that's where a little bit of math comes in, and or you can eyeball it because it doesn't matter a whole lot as long as they're pretty close, because once you take it off the loom, everything is going to kind of shrink together a little bit anyway. So yeah, it doesn't have to be exact. Don't stress out. Like you can see where I put my markers and then my nails are like close enough. So you can see with my big one, same concept. These are closer together than these because this is the long edge. And I'm not going to count this right now because I just don't feel like it. Say hi to Bernie Sanders. Okay, so the blanket that this adorable kitten is on is an example of a triangle loom blanket. So that one that had the many, many nails that I didn't feel like counting, I wove this on. It was a pretty thin wool. I don't know if I can get it to be in focus. You can kind of see the individual stitches there. And then after you wash it, it felts together. And so now it is the pet blanket because it's felted, so it's more durable than, than regular wool. Just by itself, like a very fragile wool sweater, but now it's felted. My loom, it's the same size triangle as my other one, but the nails are much more spaced out. So I use this for thicker yarn. It does make it go a lot faster because this one has like half as many nails as the other one. So the amount of time that I have to spend actually looping the yarn is quite a lot less. So I've seen people use triangle looms to make shawls, and it'll be like just one continuous giant triangle, and they put them up on the wall, which is cool. Like I have plenty of wall space, but I also have artwork hanging up. So I prefer to have a smaller triangle that I can put away. And then I just attach the triangles like I did for that other blanket, or I will show you on the blanket that I'm currently working on. So the lesson that I have learned today is that I need a tripod, but I don't have one. So we're gonna do this. And I'm gonna try to not breathe too much because then my phone will fall over. So anyway, the blanket that I'm currently making is recycled sari silk. I've got a big old crochet hook because that helps me go through more rows than just a regular crochet hook. You make a slip knot to start with your yarn. And that just gives you a place to hook it onto the very first nail over here. I need a GoPro to strap to my head so I can do like action shots of weaving. Anyway, you hook your slip knot right here on the very first triangle. I cannot tell if that's in focus or not, but there you go. All right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take our yarn all the way across this guy over here to the last nail way over here on the corner, and we wrap it around that nail, and then we go down to the second nail on this row, and then we take it all the way back across over here to the second nail, so it always matches up. If you're worried about like losing track of what nail you're on or something, you could number them, and then that way you could always make sure to match up the numbers. That'd be cute. I don't know why I didn't think of that before, but anyway, here we are. Then we take it back up, and you make sure that it's only touching the second nail. You don't want it wrapped around the first one, so touched around the second nail, and then we're going to take it around the second nail on this row. So now we've done first nail over to first nail, and then second to second. Then we're going to start doing our over under. So with regular weaving, you do over under, you know, all of that over under all the way through for your whole pattern. But this way we're building our rows and our columns, the warp and the weft, as we go, instead of setting it up in one direction and then finishing it the other way. So I'm going to pull my yarn under this very first loop, hook it around the third nail, and then I take it across. Oop, got stuck because it's sari silk. Okay, take it over to my third nail again, and then wrap it around my second nail, and then we're going to bring it back down. So this time, because it went under this one, it has to go on top, and it went over this one, so it has to go underneath it, and then it went under, well, I guess it didn't go under itself, it was just kind of there. But anyway, we're following the pattern, so see how it was under, over, it's going to keep going. So we've got this guy coming across this way, and then you can see it makes its own pattern over here. Because we did the work on that side, it just transfers to over here, which is pretty snazzy. Okay, I'm going to show you again where I've got the phone up higher. So, sorry it's so wiggly. All right, so I've got my yarn here. It went around the third nail. It's coming back around this third nail on the top row. My yarn went over this piece, so my hook is going to go under. My yarn went under this piece, so my hook is going to go over. And my yarn went over the last piece, so my hook is going to go under. I'm going to grab my yarn, pull it through, make sure it stays on the nail it's supposed to be on. I'm going to hook it around the fourth nail, so nope, just kidding, fifth nail. I lost track of numbers. Maybe that's why I don't have numbers written on mine. And then we're going to go across this way, and so you can see going all the way across to the corresponding nail on this side. And then if I can get my phone to stay up, I cannot. Okay, so we're gonna take the yarn. So here's my yarn ball, and you can see where it's just still attached to the yarn ball. I just have to kind of lift it out of the way. Sometimes they get tangled. And then we just go up to this next nail. So this one lines up with that one, and you can see. So this guy just went all the way across. I did the over under over here with my crochet hook and got it wrapped around that nail, and then brought it through, brought the yarn through with my crochet hook, drag it across, and then it just comes out finished on this side. So again, on this side, hopefully you can see from up there. So if you look, my yarn is on top of this one. So I'm going to go under it, over it, under it, over it, grab the yarn. I just like to kind of pull it tight like that, pull it through, put it on the nail, and then I use my hook to drag it across. It gets tangled. You got to just fight with the tangles. Oh my goodness. Sorry, yarn. Oh, it's not even pointed there. Alrighty, there we go. Okay, so we're dragging it across. Put the loop over the nail right here. Straighten it up right here. And now you look, this side matches the other side. This is where I put my hook through. So we did the over under. The yarn just comes across here. It matches up on this side. We've got the over, under, over, under, over, and then we've got the nail, and then we would wrap it and we just keep going. Okay, so I finished a second layer. So this first layer, ooh, that's out of focus. The first layer here is what y'all watched me do, and then I did a second layer, and it's really cool because by doing 2 layers on the triangle, I can connect them by doing the loops here, and I'll show you that in a second, and then I get a square, and that's how I have all the squares for the blanket. So for this, you are taking the loops off of the nails and just pulling them through each other. And you can kind of see that braid pattern there along the edge. That's pulling the loops one at a time, one through the other, until they're all connected. All right, so here's the one that y'all saw me do. There's the first triangle and the second triangle, and they're connected to each other here on the middle. And then here's all the rest of the squares that I have so far. So I need to make one more for right there, and then I'm gonna crochet them together and do an edging just to kind of smooth out the edges, make it a little bit stronger, and then my blanket is done. So yeah, thanks for joining me.